Hello, so I'm going to be ranking every Murder Drones episode. It's a show I like and, well, I've bought merch, so I've basically sold my soul away to the solver. And because I need to put videos out while I make my main one on Left 4 Dead, this was one of the few things I came up with. I don't really have anything specific I'm ranking them on, just a bunch of stuff overall, like the story, characters, music. I'll be ranking them worst to best, and before we get into this video, I just want to say, I like all of the episodes. I don't think any are bad. They each have their own positives at what they do best. I do eventually want to do a full review and talk of the show where I explain more about it. And if you haven't watched Murder Drones, obviously go watch it. Number 8, Heartbeat. So I know for a lot of Murder Drones fans, you probably expected episode 5 to be here at the bottom, but I'm going to give it to episode 2. Even though I'm putting it at last, I don't think this is a bad episode. I still like it, and I think it does things like horror great compared to other episodes. Episode 1 is the pilot introducing us to the world and characters and all that stuff, while episode 2 is what is introducing us more to the story and what we're going to be getting into for the entire show. There isn't really much to say about this episode. It's probably the most forgettable episode out of the entire series. Yes, it introduces us to the Solver and Cause. I guess the railgun gets destroyed this episode. That's something. This episode has positives. I think the horror and such are pretty good in this episode. But compared to other episodes, I feel it just gets outranked in most things. Number 7. Home, episode 5. Probably the most hated episode in the fanbase, and I can see why. The problem I have, and I think most other people have with this episode, is it just feels like so much missed potential. I feel this episode should have had more, but it just didn't. This episode is a flashback simulation thing, and it's our episode about seeing the drones past. The episode is carried by Tessa and Sin. They are the two things carrying this episode. I like some of the music in this, like the Gala and Crisscross Applesauce. One of the main problems about this episode, there's nothing about V. This episode is about V and N's past, yet V is not in it at all. Well, I guess she's in it, but for the first lot, she's in some error state, not working. Then she's controlled by the solver, and then she only speaks in the last 2 minutes and probably gets about 5 lines of dialogue. Which kind of annoys me, because for an episode about their past, you would assume she's there. There's so many other problems with this episode. And it's something I have as Murder Drones writing as a whole. So many things just get kind of ignored. Like at the end, where N goes into the basement. All that trauma is just thrown to the side. But I can see someone putting this at the bottom of their list. It is probably the most missed potential episode. There's so much that could be done with this, yet nothing really feels like it happens. This episode is only ranked higher than Heartbeat because it feels more important. I think there's more lore in this episode, and Tessa and Sin need their time to make the reveals better for when they come in episode 7. So for that, I feel episode 5 will be put at 7 on the list. But I can definitely see someone putting this in last place. It's not a bad episode, I just wish there was more done. Number 6. Cabin Fever, episode 4. What to really say about this episode? It's fine. It's fine, I guess. I like the setting and some of the music. Camping.mp3 and Solver Uzi are pretty good. There are some moments between V and N talking about the past and all that, which didn't really deliver considering the next episode. This is a problem I think Murder Drones has as a whole, being death. Uzi slaughters like 5 people, right? And at the end she's like, oh no, I killed a lot of people. It's never brought up again. I don't want to rank this episode low because I still think it's fun and has some moments. It's important to the plot because the Keybug and Solver Uzi. Overall, I think it's fun. And I feel like Liam just wanted to write some sort of slasher film. So this is what we got. I could see myself ranking this lower, but for now I think 6th is fine. Number 5. The Pilot, Episode 1. I'm kind of surprised I ranked this episode so high, but there's just something so fun and nice about this episode. A lot of things in this episode are remembered and enjoyed. The lines, the music, things like the pens and the railgun, which doesn't get enough use sadly. Overall, the pilot is a fun introduction to the world and characters and the jokes this series is going to be telling. This episode does its job at setting up everything for the show. You can see smaller things like Sin and the Solver being mentioned. Also smaller things like Jay's EMP that's used. I thought they would never bring that back, but they surprisingly did in episode 6, so credit for that. But yeah, overall it's a fun intro episode that I think does its job well at showing us the idea of the show, the characters, the jokes, and the world around it to get you interested. I think 5th is a great spot for the pilot. I could see people ranking it lower, but I just don't think it could get any higher. Number 4. Absolute End, Episode 8. The final episode of this show feels like it needs to be on the higher half of this list. It's a fun episode that really just throws in everything, which if you look at the episode like that, of it's just a fun thing for fans to watch, then yeah, it's a good episode. This episode is just a hype episode. If you turn off your brain and just kind of take everything at what it's being given, then yeah, this is a really good episode. There's great things about it, like the fights, the animation, the characters are great. Cinder's great here, she's probably one of my more favourite characters if I had to rank them all. But because this is the final episode, I can't help but just have hoped for more. Which I think that's what's bringing this episode down for me. Just thinking of what could have been. Like, yeah, Khan using a door to hurt Sin and save En from dying is nice. But then I also just kind of wish he used the railgun, considering you set that up the previous episode. And it could have been like a thing linking back to the first episode where he didn't shoot and now he's shooting. I obviously wish some moments for characters were better. Don't get me wrong, there's really good character scenes in this, like the hallway scene for V and N. And because of the time and just the fact this is the last episode, we don't get to see stuff between other characters. You would expect a scene between Uzi and her family now they're all together, but no. We're not going to get that. We don't have time for that. It feels rushed and like Liam knew he couldn't really deliver on everything. So he just wanted to throw in as many cool moments and whatever we needed into the final just to make it something fans would enjoy. And from that perspective of just things fans enjoy, it's a really good episode. But I just can't help from wanting more, you know what I mean? Especially because so many things are still left open. I'm not saying Murder Drone should answer every single question it has. But yeah, that's all. I just wish there were more moments. Maybe like at least some animated shorts. Because there's still so many questions. Like, is the Solver beat? Yeah, Uzi said she was free, but she didn't get cured by the patch. I'm assuming she's just able to hold off the absolute Solver because plot. There's great stuff in this. I like the fight scene. I'm not a huge fan of Bite Me, but I get why it's there. I think for the scene, it's a good song, and for the character, it's a good song. At least I have Forever. I feel like I'm repeating myself, but yeah, this is a fun episode that delivers a lot for fans. I'm sure with a few rewatches and some more just accepting it for what it is and not looking at the missed potential and other things I wish it had, then yeah, I'd enjoy this episode a lot more. I can see somebody ranking this at the top of their list. I can see somebody ranking this a little lower. Number 3, The Promening, Episode 3. This is a good episode. It's pretty fun, has a nice setting. Dole's an interesting villain and fun character you can really root for. Besides the killing of innocent drones, she doesn't do much bad, so you really can root for her. And she has one of the things I want to complain most about this show, that nobody cares about what the disassembly drones did. I feel like Dole is the only character who really went, yeah, you guys did kind of kill and slaughter everyone. I'm still mad about that. Meanwhile, characters like Uzi just skip over the whole, you may have potentially killed my mum. The music is good, Knife Dance and Get Prommed are great, the fight scene is pretty good, and this is the first real episode where we see what a Solver host can do. Also, for En and Uzi fans, this is the episode where the ship really starts. Until this point, they seemed more friends with each other, and if anything, Uzi seemed to have more of a thing for Thad, which is kind of thrown away. V gets some more scenes, some stuff with Lizzie. Also, this episode has the ending where Tessa and Jay show up, and I think they are great. I don't really have any complaints, so I can see why people would put this as their number 1 favourite episode. I probably should have on the list, but I just like 2 more episodes more. So for that, this episode is going to be stuck at 3. Number 2, Dead End, Episode 6. I can see this episode being lower on people's list, but I really like it. This episode really feels like the beginning of the end. Once you get to this point, you're locked in for the rest of the show. Tessa is a fun character and has a lot going for her. Definitely a fan favourite that you can see everyone enjoying. I like the intro, I like the settings. It does good at getting you excited for the next episodes. I think characters are great in this. Tessa is fun, Alice and Bo are good. I like the scene of Tessa revealing the world is destroyed. I kind of wish we saw more of Alice. She's an interesting character that has more that could have been done. For example, we kind of just skip over the fact she still has some cause. I feel nobody talks about that at all. Like, that is just skipped over. Her death isn't bad. I understand why we have to kill her off, because we're near the end of the show and we can't really have a bunch of characters just running around. So, for that, we do kind of have to kill her off. This is probably V's main episode because of, well, her sacrifice. I don't think it's ruined by the fact she was alive. I still think the sacrifice scene is good, even if while watching it you know she's not going to die, because I just don't see a show like this killing her off. Also the music. Eternal Dream is great. I really like Eternal Dream. It's probably one of my more preferred songs out of the entire soundtrack. There's just so much to like about this episode. I don't think any characters are bad here. I think everyone is good and has their moments to shine. It's an enjoyable watch, and I don't really have many problems with it. It's top 3 and hits my number 2 spot. Number 1, Mass Destruction, Episode 7. Yeah, this is probably my favourite episode. This episode has so much going for it. I like the Sin Tessa reveal. We finally meet Nori, get some more lore. But this was the first episode I really saw anything interesting from N. I'm gonna be honest, up until this point, I didn't really care. But I felt episode 7 did well at getting me a bit interested in his character and what he was going to do, so I have to give it points for that. I like him killing Tessa. It still feels in character for him because it's saving Uzi, but it's still a nice and shocking moment that some people wouldn't have expected on the first watch because it's from N, who up until this point has just been the nice, I'll do anything character. Speaking of which, Sin controlling Uzi was really good. Destroying the cross was something I didn't expect. I can see how people don't like it though, because it's you introduce this thing right at the start of this episode. You build it up thinking it's going to be some major important thing, and then it's just destroyed in like 2 seconds. The fight scene in this episode is really good. I feel like I need to give it points for being the only fight that really feels like, despite fighting, they're not trying to kill each other. Or at least N isn't trying to kill Uzi. And that gives it something interesting over all the other fights in this series. Also, the ending. Uzi actually gets something here, with her sacrificing herself for N. And I also like that they show Uzi in space and that she's alive in the end. If they ended it on having the viewer just question, oh, is Uzi dead? It would be pretty annoying, and I don't think anyone would expect Uzi to die, so it wouldn't really have worked. And also, I like the ending with just how there's no music, it's a nice scene in space, and just lets everything of this episode sink in, because there's so much going on in it. I can see that being a huge complaint for some people, that there feels like too much going on. Some people may not like the Sin reveal, some people may not like that Dole dies. If I did have to give one major complaint about this episode, why are we ignoring Nori's death? Nori brings it up, she says, Uzi, those things killed your frickin' mother. But they ignore that. And that is something I hate about the entire series, that the whole who killed Uzi's mum is never answered. It's probably N. It's most likely N. But we just ignore it for the entire series. I don't know why. I personally don't like that choice. But yeah, overall, I just like this episode. It's probably my favourite. I could easily see this being lower on the list for some people, especially because of certain things like Dole's death and the Sin reveal. For now, it's my number one choice, and my favourite episode of Murder Drones. So that's my list. Thank you for watching, unless you skipped to the end just to see what episode I like the most and what episode I like the least. Again, I don't think any episode is bad, and this is just my list, which could change whenever. While writing it, I was very unsure about where to place things, so I changed them quite a few times, and even now, I'm still unsure about the placement of everything. I just want to make this video and get it out, because I feel like I'm going to change the list again. Do subscribe, it does help the channel. One of the other things on my list of videos I could have had were an Internesian Cube review, which is one of Liam's other shows, so I'll happily go into all that. Also, for you lot, I really do want to interact with all of you and see more of fan opinions. So do subscribe and tell me your favourite episodes in the comments. I like to do a version of ranking this, but I get fan opinions, so maybe I could use the community tab to let you guys vote for what episode is your favourite and what episode is your least favourite, and then get some reasons from you guys and make that all into a video. You're also free to comment more stuff you'd like to see, if there's any specific show you'd like me to review, or anything you'd want me to really talk about. As always, in case I don't see you again, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.